Okay, who would like to read this? Volunteer?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Can I read?
Yes.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Mantra prayer to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimadhe Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries, which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Pancha Tattva Mantra. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisance to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi, and all others in the line of devotion. Maha Mantra. Maha means great and mantra means sacred chant for deliverance. Of all mantras in the Vedas, one is called the Maha Mantra or Great Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The words Hare pronounced Hare, Krishna pronounced Krishna, and Rama rhymes with Rama are Sanskrit words. Hare is an address to God's energy known as Radha, and Krishna is the name of God, meaning he who is attractive to everyone. Rama means one who gives pleasure and enjoys life. When chanted, the Maha Mantra is a petition to God. O Krishna, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Kavita. So today, Hare Krishna, today we are doing level 2, part 2. So we take the blessings of Radha, Krishna, and seek their blessings that we can become good devotees, and also that we can understand the Vedic scriptures nicely, especially Bhagavad Gita, and also we can go back to the spiritual world this very lifetime. So we also chant the prayers to the Lordship. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate.
So we take the blessings of His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Who would like to read this? Volunteer?
May I?
Yes.
Understanding of Gita. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod. And certainly here, Bhagavan designates Lord Sri Krishna as the great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nibarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord himself also establishes himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita, and he is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavata Purana, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of Godhead himself.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. He is spoken as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Even Lord Shiva is called Bhagavan because he is a controller. Even all the devas are also called Bhagavan. But what's the difference between Krishna and the other devas? This one is Sri Bhagavan. Is Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva was once asked by Parvati, oh Swamiji, Swami means husband, what are you meditating on? He said, I'm meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. So you see, Lord Shiva also is meditating on Krishna. And then Brahma Samhita was spoken when Lord Brahma did not understand who Krishna was. So what he did was he took all the cows and the boys and hid them. And when he came back, he saw that Krishna had expanded himself to all the boys and the cows. Then he was very ashamed and he understood that he is playing with none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he came and he bowed down in front of Lord Krishna and he spoke the Brahma Samhita. At the end of every verse of Brahma Samhita, Krishna said, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So basically it means that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I pay respects to him. So then also all these acharyas also have said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now all these great personalities are all saying that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the ultimate, he is the true Lord, and he is a Supreme Lord. Then we should all accept and carry on. You see, your mother tells you this is your father. Now you trust your mother, right? Because she is your mother. And then she says, this is your father. So you understand that this is my father. Otherwise, you have seen that he's, how you know he's the father? Because your mother said. So in the same way, all the great sages are explaining. In the Srimad Bhagavatam is written very, very clearly. Time and time and time, so many great personalities in the Srimad Bhagavatam have said so. So finally, Krishna is definitely the Supreme Lord. There is none other than Krishna. So today we do part 2 of the contents of the Gita summarized. So last week we talked about Krishna. See that Arjuna does not want to fight because he is under illusion. So then what did Krishna speak to Arjuna? He says that we are the soul, not the body. And that the material body has to die. The soul is forever there. And then he's also said that you should fight on righteous ground. So all this is under Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means understanding knowledge. Yeah. So then, if he says that you should fight on righteous ground, it's very auspicious to do that. Even if you die, you go to Deva planet, there is no problem. And then he says that if Arjuna does not fight, he will be called a coward and he will have no respect in this world. And for a person who has no respect in this world, death is better than living. It's like a living death, so to speak. And then the fourth point, Krishna says, Arjuna, your duty as a Kshatriya is to fight. That is your duty. Please do it. And now we come to Buddhi Yoga. Today we come to Buddhi Yoga and also Bhakti Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is work in Krishna consciousness in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. So last week we stopped at 238. So now we start at 239. Who would like to read this? Volunteer? Manju?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I will read.
Okay. You can manage on your own.
Esha te abhihita sankhya buddhi yoge titva shrinu buddhyatma yuto ya partha karma bandhanam prahayasi. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna
Thank you,
is being
Prabhuji.
taught by Arjuna, teaching Arjuna that I see that you are very conscious of not incurring sin, and you are not a materialistic person. You seem to be a very spiritual person. So I have already told you earlier in this chapter about the material viewpoints. Now let me talk to you on a higher level. How to do your duty without fruitive result, without karma. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. You will not get karma. You are always afraid. You are saying that I will kill people, I'll get bad karma. People suffer because I killed the husband, I'll get bad karma. So I cannot take it, you know. It's too heavy for me. So then Krishna says, okay, let's go on a higher platform. Who would like to read this? Anawali?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will read.
Yeah.
Neha Bikrama Nasusti Pratyar Vayo Na Vidyate Swal Pam Api Asya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Vaya. In this endeavor, there is no loss of diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So Krishna is continuing to explain about not getting karmic reactions. He says there is no loss of diminution, and if you go on this spiritual way of doing your duty, then what will happen? You will be protected from the most dangerous type of fear. What is the most dangerous type of fear? When you do sinful acts, you have to suffer for them, for the reaction of sinful acts. So in this way, Krishna is telling Arjuna, "Come, let's discuss on this." So here we have material qualification does not continue in the next slide. You can see, when you are graduate, next slide you have to go back to school. But the spiritual qualification continues in the next slide. This person was a devotee, but he did not make it to the spiritual world. So next slide, he was carrying on as a devotee. The consciousness of a devotee is still there, but the consciousness of the knowledge you get from material studies is not there. Okay. So before we go to this 46, we can read 41, 42, 43. Yadupriya, you want to read?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, sorry Prabhu, I'm actually driving in the highway. So
Okay, so you cannot. Who has a Bhagavad Gita and would like to watch?
Okay, Prabhu, can I read them?
Yes, 41, 42, 43.
Do I go through the Sanskrit? No.
Just the English.
They say, okay, those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Text 242. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various protective activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Here, a person who is resolute. If you want to be healthy, what you must do? Can someone answer this? If you want to be healthy, what you should do?
Eat right.
Eat correctly. What else?
Exercise.
Exercise. Very good. So if you want to become healthy, you have to put in the endeavor, right? You have to eat healthy. You cannot you should, even though maybe you prefer to eat unhealthy, but you control yourself and you eat healthy, and you make your senses be satisfied and like eating healthy. So much so that when you are eating healthy long enough and you eat something which is not healthy, you feel not nice. It doesn't seem nice. Same way also, you have to keep on exercising. If you don't exercise, you say today no need lah, tomorrow no need lah, day after no need lah, after this I will catch up. This doesn't work that way. What you have to do, you have to do daily exercise. You want to do yoga, you have to do daily yoga. You want to do walking, you have to do daily walking. You want to eat, you also have to eat daily. You cannot say today I won't eat, tomorrow I won't eat, day after I won't eat, after that I'll eat and make up for it. So that is not how it works. So this is why Krishna is saying that you must be determined to daily regularly become a spiritual person. Control your actions or do actions which are beneficial spiritually to you, and try not to do those actions which are not beneficial to you. You understand so far? Huh? So those who are, you have to endeavor, then you will get the result. So, and then in 42, 43, he says that in the Vedas, there is two kinds of recommendations. One is those people who are wanting to enjoy more, more the material world. And what they do is they will follow those parts of the Vedas which tell you, if you want a good wife, you must do like this. You want a lot of money, you must do like this. All the rituals they tell you. And all these will make you go to the planet of the Devas. So now the question I want to ask you is, why does the Vedas also speak on these materialistic things? Why not just speak about Krishna? Has it ever occurred to you? Anyone has any idea why there is these things also? Because you see, some people are not ready for spiritual life, but they are in the mode of goodness and they want to better their material life and also put God in the picture. You know, have some form of service to the Lord. So the Devas are the perfect for them. Because Krishna says those who are materialistic will go to the Devas. And at least if they follow the rituals and they are become good, at least they are good people. But just imagine if people who are materialistic and they are not even following the Vedas and they are following their own philosophy in life and being very selfish and all that, what will happen? They will become like animals. They will be just like two-legged animals. In the Bhagavatam is written, when a person doesn't submit himself to the will of the Lord, at least he submit himself to rules and regulations of the Devas, at least he still is considered a human being. But when you go outside of Vedic literatures and you just go and just follow your own philosophy, that is very dangerous. That makes you a demon and makes you a person like Hitler, who just will kill. He doesn't care. He sees the Jews, he said kill them. And that is the problem, you know, that these people will do things which are not correct. Any questions so far? Okay, so now someone can read 44, 45, and 46 on the board. Who would like to try? Who hasn't read yet?
I'll read, Prabhu.
Okay, please.
44. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things,
Can you speak
the
louder?
resolute.
Louder?
Okay, I'll start again. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. 45. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self.
Okay. Now you have to read the Sanskrit also.
Okay. Yavan artha udapane sharvada samplutodake tavan sarveshu videsu brahmanshaya vijanada. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Vedas cha sharvar aham evo vidyo. Bhagavatam, right? 15.15. By all the Vedas am I to be known. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Rama, Hare Krishna. So now Krishna is saying that these people who are too much attached to material enjoyment, determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place, at least not this lifetime. Hopefully, they will come in contact with some pure devotee and they will start the process of understanding. It happens, you know, a person who is so materialistic, in the end, he finds that it's not giving him happiness. Then he says, why is this? I'm so successful, but I'm not happy. And hopefully you can come to the spiritual path. So Krishna is saying that if you become too materialistic, you will not be interested in devotional service. You're not interested in devotional service, you cannot stop the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. And the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. So Krishna is saying again that the Vedas do deal with this rules and regulations for materialistic people. At least the Vedas are controlling them to become human beings. Otherwise, problem. But there's another part of the Vedas is to show you that devotional service is higher. Finally, if you read the Rig Veda, it says that there is only one Lord, the Supreme Lord, and the others are Devas. So those who are materialistic submit to the Devas. Again, later on, you will read in Bhagavad Gita, same thing Krishna is speaking. So, if you can go transcend this, you go above the mode of goodness into mode of devotional service. That is the ultimate goal of life. That is the ultimate perfection of a person. Because when he goes above the three modes of material nature, he launches himself into the spiritual level, and then he can actually go back to the spiritual world. Okay? So here in this 246, Krishna says that all purpose served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. If you have a small well, you may serve the village. If you have a reservoir of water, you can serve the whole, maybe state, right? So the same way, if you know the purpose of the Vedas, can be served to one who knows the purpose of Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose here. If you know that the Vedas is to actually bring you to devotional service, first he brings you to the rules and regulations of materialistic life. After that, he brings you to the devotional service. But you know, that one is very hard to read. You have to read so many things and try and understand. But Bhagavad Gita is the one that actually is immediately explaining to you, Krishna is immediately explaining to you what and how to come to devotional service. So now it's very important that we have read that in Gita Mahatmya we have read that to actually that anyone who reads the Bhagavad Gita will actually get so much benefit, and the cycle of birth and death goes away. So if you are really compassionate to your friends and relatives and friends, you should also go and get them to read the Bhagavad Gita. You tell them, you read the Bhagavad Gita, you will actually lose the fear of death. You will not be worried, you will be under the protection of the Lord. And that the best spiritual benefit you can do is to read the Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, you help your family and friends. So here is if you have 100 ringgit, it includes 1 ringgit, 2 ringgit, 5 ringgit, 10 ringgit, 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit, right? In the 100 ringgit. So the same way is if you can understand the purpose of the Vedas, you will have actually come to the understanding. Okay. So the revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is the most nice verse you can read and remember. Okay, who would like to read 247?
So may I read, sir?
Yeah, you may read, and then you read 248 and 249 also. But this one,
Sir, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm out. I don't have Bhagavad Gita with me. So
do only this. Okay.
okay, sir. Thank you. Sorry.
You can do on your own, or you only.
Yes, sir. I'll try, sir.
Okay.
Karmani evadhikaraste. Karmanye evadhikaraste. Oh, this is that one. Sorry. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sango stvakarmani. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of actions. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Thank you.
Thank you. So Krishna is giving us a secret. Please do your duty, but don't be attached to the fruits. When you attach to the fruits, what happens? You will become a materialistic person, and you will think that materialistic reward is the most important. You don't understand that if you just do your duty and you concentrate on your devotional service, you will get both material and spiritual things, but you will not be materialistic. That's the beauty of what Krishna is doing. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activity. Don't think you are the doer. Think you are the instrument. Never be attached to not doing your duty. You should be attached to doing your duty, but not attached to what? Fruits. Okay, 247, 248. Okay, who would like to read this? Who hasn't read yet? Suji? Are you able to read, Suji?
Okay, sir. I will try to read.
You need help in the Sanskrit?
Yes, please.
Yoga saha
Yogastaha
guru karmani
Kuru Karmani
sangam tvaktva
Sangam Tyaktva Tyaktva
Yeah. Adhanam jaya
Adhananjaya
siddhi asidhyo
Siddhiya Siddhyo
samo bhutva
Samo Bhutva
kamatvam
samatvam
yoga uchyate.
yoga uchyate. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Okay, do you have Bhagavad Gita with you? Oh, there's 20. You can read 49 also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you follow, huh? Dure nahi
Durena hi
avaram karma
avaram karma
Buddhi yoga
buddhi yoga
dhananjaya
dhananjaya
Buddhau saranam
buddhau saranam
anvicha
anvicha
karpana
karpana
palahetava.
palahetava. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers.
Yeah. So here Krishna is saying, perform your duty equipoised. Whether you get success or failure, that is not a problem. Do your duty. Do it to the best of your ability. When you get success, you say, Krishna, you're very kind. I don't deserve it, but you are giving me such big success. If you got a failure, you say, Krishna, thank you. I know that I'm supposed to learn something from this, so let me learn from this. So in this way, be equipoised. That means you don't cry when it doesn't work your way, and you don't become puffed up and too happy when it goes your way. This is not the correct way of doing things, okay? So then here again he said, keep all abominable activities, sinful activities far distant. How you do that? When you do devotional service, you will become disinterested in sinful activities. That is the other side of devotional service. I mean, the sinful activities is when you do devotional service. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Surrender unto the Lord is important because as you surrender, so the Lord takes care of you. If your surrender is not strong, the problem also is that the Lord doesn't really come to your mercy, to your help so bad, because you are your own. You are your own. You desire to do it yourself. Did I tell you about the story of the man who was in the house and the flood was coming? Have I told this story?
No.
No, Prabhu.
Okay, there was one man who says, I believe in God. So then he was sitting in the house. Then the government officers came and said, everyone please vacate this place because the flood is coming and it's dangerous. So a lot of people just left the place. So, but this man said, no, I will depend on the Lord. So he stayed there, and then the flood waters came and they start rising. So he goes to the first floor of the house, and then the government sent the boat to looking for people who are still there and did not vacate the place. And in a motorboat they came, and then he saw the motorboat. He didn't even call them to help him go. He just said, the Lord will actually take care of me. And then after that, the water went up some more, and he went to the rooftop. And then the helicopter was coming around saving people who are still stuck. But he did not wave any flag or what to the helicopter to draw their attention. So the helicopter just left, and the flood water went up and he died. And when he died, then he went to the Lord. Lord, I have a complaint against you. The Lord said, come on, tell me what's your complaint. He said, you know, I depend totally on you. And then you see, you never saved me. I died. Then the Lord said, you know something? I asked the government officers to go and announce. That was one thing I already told. Secondly is I sent the boat people all to come and save you. But you also are too stubborn. And then after that, last the helicopter came. And then what happened? You also were too stubborn. Finally, what can I do? I've already tried 3 times, but you are refusing. So I am the one who sent. What do you think? You want me to come and take you? No, I arranged that you be saved, but you don't want. So in this way, you surrender unto the Lord, but the Lord will make arrangements for you. Don't think he'll come in front of you and take you, but he will make arrangements for you in this way. So if you want to enjoy the fruits of your work, you are called misers because you don't want to do your duty. All you want to do is you want to get the money to enjoy yourself, not as a duty in life. Okay? So this is what Krishna is saying, that they are misers. They are very stingy people. When they earn the money, they will spend on themselves, but they will not help the poor. They will not do things for others. You know, so this is the problem. You know, Warren Buffett, I don't know whether you've heard about him. He is a very, very rich billionaire in USA. And then he makes money by buying shares and keeping them and taking dividends and selling shares. Anyway, that's his business. But 99% of the profit, you know what he does? He donates to charity. Only 1% he keeps for his stuff. And you know what type of house he lives in? He lives in the same house for the last 30 years. Even though he can maintain a big mansion, he just lives on a normal bungalow. He did not buy a palace. He can buy a palace. He's so rich. And then people ask him, you know, you are donating 99%. Don't you feel why are you doing this? They said, because when I give 99%, I get tax deduction for donations given. So I don't pay the government any tax. Then he said, don't you think it's bad that you're not paying the government any tax? He said, no. The poor people deserve, the people in need deserve the money more than the government. The government can print their own money and they collect taxes from other people who are not donating. So in this way, you just imagine the mentality of this person. But I don't know whether he's a devotee or not. But in this way, he's not a miser. He just does it as a duty and he's donating to people who need the money. Okay? So if you do fruitive activities, you will have a loss because at the end of your life you have to give up everything. But if you are doing Krishna conscious activity, next life you get carried on. Supposing there are 100 steps to go to the spiritual world, if you did 45 steps, next life you start with 46. But in the material things, if you did 80 steps, next life you start with 0 again. You have to start all over again. Of course, maybe if you have, if you do good karma, you did a lot of charity, or next life you can become a rich person. But still, you still have to relearn all the material things and restart and try and earn all the money again. So then you incur sin because you do good karma and the bad karma also. Some of the things, there is no such thing as you do only good things. Sometimes you do something unknowingly also. Then, but if you do anything Krishna conscious, it does not incur sin and reputation of fear of sinful reaction. You will not be entangled, and Krishna says you will not get sick. And those who are doing fruitive activities cannot get rid of good and bad reaction. You know, you get later on we will see. I think you have remembered the three modes of material nature, but we'll go more deeper into this, so you understand why it is fruitive activity. And then this one is get rid of good and bad reaction. And then fruitive activities, there's no guarantee of human life in next birth, but it's spiritual things you do, and you sure born as a human being, either in a family of cultured Brahmana or rich aristocratic family. Later, as you remember, right? Last time Arjuna asked this question. So then the intelligence is not fixed if you are doing fruitive activities, but if you are doing spiritual things, Krishna will guide you and your intelligence is fixed. And you will get no peace and no happiness, because material things is like a fire. The more you want, the more the fire burns within you. And spiritual things gives you peace, gives you happiness, gives you love. You know, the Lord loves you, you love the Lord. You love the devotees love you. You get love and you receive love and you give love. So fruitive activities result in entanglement, but this one gives you liberation. And fruitive activity entangles one to work and work and work until he dies, and this one will free you from the bondage of work. All right, so 49. So 250, 251 and 252. Who would like to read? Who has Bhagavad Gita?
Prabhu, I'll read.
Yes, please.
Start with 250, right?
Yeah, 250, 51 and 52.
English and Sanskrit, or just English?
Just the English, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Text 50. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad actions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, O Arjuna, which is the art of all work. Text 51. The wise engage in devotional service, take refuge in the Lord, and free themselves from the cycle of birth and death by renouncing the fruits of their action in the material world. This way, they can attain the state beyond all miseries. Text 52. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So if you are engaged in devotional service, you get rid of the good and bad reaction. Just now we saw the chart that explained already. And engaging yourself in devotional service, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work. That means cause you liberation and become free from the cycle of birth and death. And you go beyond all miseries by going back to the spiritual world. In 52, he says, is like if your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion. If you have this knowledge of how to do it, you can come out from the forest, the dark forest, and you won't get lost in the forest. You will actually come out from the forest and you will become indifferent to all that is heard and all that is to be heard. You will be indifferent from all the different materialistic philosophies, as well as materialistic religions. Not only materialistic action, but materialistic religion also. Be indifferent to all of them. Just stick to the Gita. Okay? Okay, who would like to read 253 and then 254 on the board? Who has Gita?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Yes.
When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness.
Okay.
254. Arjuna Vacha Stita Prajnasya Kabaza Samadhi Stasya Kesava Stida Di Kim Prabhasita Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk? Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So now you see how Krishna is the master of, he's a really good spiritual master actually. He understands the mind of his disciple and he speaks in such a way and he brings the argument in such a way that the disciple gets convinced. So you can see in 253, he says, when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas and it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, you understand your Atma and you understand what is the relationship between Atma and the Supreme Lord. Then you will have attained divine consciousness. And so Arjuna is already now very convinced. So in this he's asking, Krishna, how does a person really look like who is spiritual? Can you please tell me what he does and all that? Okay, because now Arjuna is already understanding that, okay, I should be spiritual. Now I should take example of people who are spiritual and follow in their footsteps, right? You want to be a successful man in business, example, you follow in the footsteps. You want to be a successful in, say, piano or music, and you follow a successful person, and that is your. So same way Krishna says, Arjuna says, okay, can you tell me what does a person who is what you are saying to me to do, how does he look like, so I can find this person and follow his footsteps. Okay. So here Krishna says in 255, he gives up material desire by complete engagement in Krishna consciousness. Okay, who would like to read Parimala? Who hasn't read yet? And who can read? If not, I'll ask those who haven't come. Any volunteer who hasn't read? Everyone read?
No, I have not yet, Prabhu.
You have not?
Read.
Can you? Okay. Kavita, you want to read?
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can read. Yeah.
Can you speak a bit louder? Come nearer to the mic.
Yes, Prabhu, I can read. So what should I read now?
255 and 256. The English only. From the
Okay,
Bhagavad Gita. And speak
okay,
a bit
Prabhu.
louder because your voice is a bit soft.
Okay, is it better now?
Better, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, okay, Prabhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness.
1.
256.
One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind.
One more, 57.
In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge.
Thank you, Kavita. So you can see what Krishna is now telling Arjuna. Arjuna is asking, how does he look like? He says a person who has no desire for sense gratification. He has desire for what type of enjoyment? Spiritual enjoyment. Instead of eating things which are not good for you, you are eating prasadam. Okay, example. And when instead of anyway, you got the point, I think, that if you do things which are spiritual in nature, those are the people who are the ones that you should follow. And free from mental concoction. You think that materialistic thing will make you happy? That's not true. And how, when the mind thus purified, when you don't do all these things, you don't do all the sense gratification and mental concoction, your mind will be purified, and your peacefulness will be there when your soul will be satisfied. You are actually feeding the soul, and the soul will be happy, and it will radiate your whole body, and there will be a shine on spiritual shine from your face. So in this way, you will be in pure transcendental consciousness. One who, next verse, 56, one who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and when there is elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger. So you cannot be lust, anger, all, and fear should be given up. You must be courageous like a lion. How to be courageous? You know you are under the protection of Krishna, like a baby cat. When the cat is holding the baby cat is very happy. You see, my mother is looking after me. But when the same cat is catch the mouse is very afraid. He said, this is death coming. So the Lord, under the protection of the Lord, Krishna will be your like your mother cat. Otherwise, if you are a person who is sinful, Krishna will come one day at the time of death. You will have to face the Yamaduta. Krishna may not come himself, but then he said, let the Yamadutas do what they have to do. So you won't get protected. So this is how Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. And in the material world, one is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain. Somebody get something good happen to him, or somebody get something bad happen to him, he doesn't bother. He said, this is all temporary and materialistic. What is important is I should not lose my spiritual life. You understand? Huh? You cannot say, okay, someone says, okay, you either renounce or rather you do bad things, otherwise I'm going to kill you. You say, never mind, you kill me. After all, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. You want me to do bad things? I will not do. I will not want to do in person. So forget it. So in this way, you got no, you're not disturbed, and you will not do bad things, and you will only understand what is good for you. So you are unaffected by the material things because you are fixed in knowledge. Okay, who hasn't read yet? Everyone read already? Any more volunteer? Harimala, you want to read 58, 59?
And Prabhu,
Yeah, just the English from the Bhagavad Gita. Then you read on the board.
text 58. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. 59. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. The question implies how he restrains his senses and mentality. Answer, he uses his senses only for Krishna's service. Based on higher taste, he can control his sense. Analogy is tortoise and devotee. Implies to keep senses always in service of Lord and withdraw the senses when not required.
Thank you. So your senses, your mind can either be your best friend or your enemy. If you can control your senses and do what is good for you spiritually and physically, then you should do it, which is good for you. So in this way, if like the tortoise, when there's danger, he withdraws himself. So when the senses are trying to control you and putting you in danger, you withdraw them. You don't allow them to run your life. You hold them back. So in this way, Krishna is explaining, when you feel and to do sinful things, you hold yourself back. Hold your senses. Keep in control. Ask your mind to control your senses. Don't let the senses control your mind. Okay? Example, I give you, supposing you get so angry with somebody, you want to kill the fellow. If you allow your senses and your mind to run you, your intelligence, you go and kill the fellow. In the end, what's the point? You kill the fellow, what you get? You only get sin. You have to suffer. So what's the point? Better don't kill. Better just forget it and just walk away, isn't it? So you do a reaction to something, you again come back to you and you again have to suffer back. Better you control your senses, and so you don't do this bad thing. At least you don't have to suffer again. So someone already made you angry. Again, you go and do something. Again, it come back to you again. So in this way, be intelligent. Don't be like a fool. Who would like to read 60? Manju, you like to read 61, 62, 63? Manju? Manju, are you there? Busy. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, read from Bhagavad Gita 61, 62, 63. English.
Only the English?
Yes.
61. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises.
One more?
Yes. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Namaskar.
So then Krishna is answering Arjuna's question. He said that you have restrained your senses, put them under control. That's in 61. And fix his consciousness on me. He's already now answered Arjuna's question in this verse. Then Krishna goes further. He says, how do you get lust, anger, and greed? When you contemplate upon the senses, you want something so much. You look at it every time you want it, some material thing. If you want the Krishna spiritual thing, that is okay. But this one is talking about is the material thing. That's how you get lust. You contemplate on it and you want it, you get attachment for it. Supposing a person likes a girl, example, or a girl likes a man, and she wants him only. And then she's always in her mind thinking of him only. The person got no reciprocation, you leave it, no? What's the point? So anyway, when you want something very badly, you want this so much, like Ajamil, he wanted the girl so badly that he was willing to rob and kill people for money to maintain her. So this way, his mind so much on the prostitute, and then lust develop. And when you cannot get what you want, even you get what you want, also you will get angry. You don't get what you want, also you get angry. You want something so bad, you get something, but then it's not enough. You want some more after something. Also you get angry. And you don't get, also you get angry. So this is how Krishna is explaining very much. And then in 63 he says, from anger, your mind becomes totally under delusion. And when your mind is delusion, you actually become a very low class person. Your memory is bewildered. You don't understand spiritual thing. You forget. Your intelligence lost. When your intelligence lost, you will become totally immersed in material things, got no taste for spiritual thing, and no chance to go back to the spiritual world. So that is important story. So the recap is, how does he walk? How does he engage his senses? You know, when Arjuna asks Krishna, answer is, while engaging senses, he does with regulation and religious principles. Regulate the senses and follow as per religious principles. Okay. So then we did up to when? Huh? Okay, so someone can read 64, 65, 66. Who would like to volunteer? Viji, you want to read?
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay.
But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. 65. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. 66. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind. without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna, just look at how Krishna is speaking in this 66. He said, one who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness, he can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no peace. So how can there be happiness without peace? If you don't have peace, you cannot be happy. So Krishna is speaking very nicely to Arjuna, and we go backwards. In 65, he says, if you don't become Krishna conscious, Maya Devi will take you and play with you like a puppet. And if you become Krishna conscious, then the material Maya Devi got no control over you, and you will have the threefold miseries will not affect you, and you will be satisfied, and your intelligence will be well established. So in this way, Krishna is speaking. If a person free from aversion and attachment, able to control his senses through regulative principles, as per regulative principles, the scriptures have given us what we should do, what we should not do. So we follow the style, and we do our duty without asking for what? Without considering the reward. Okay, so this is how you get peace, how lust comes, how you get peace is so nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita. If you follow this nicely, you will get so much knowledge, and you really become a very intelligent and peaceful person. Okay, who would like to read 66, 67, 67, 68, 69? Who would like to read? Volunteer?
Prabhu, I'll read, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
67, 68, 69, right?
Yeah.
As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. 68. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. 69. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage.
Thank you, Mataji. So a strong wind, you got 5 senses. Even one sense, if you let it take over your intelligence, you can do something very, very bad. And it can actually make you go into so much trouble. So what happens is, example, a person comes and then he gets angry with another person, and out of anger he kills the fellow. And then later he regrets why I did this. So in this way, one of your senses can just make you go and just bring you away from what your control. That's why you must keep all the senses under control. So, O mighty arm, one whose senses are restrained from their object, is certainly of steady intelligence. If you can control your senses, you are a person of good intelligence. What is night for beings is time of awakening for the self, and time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective age. Example, if you are a night bird, you like to go to nightclubs and discos, This is for you. This is the time to awake. But for the introspective stage, the spiritual person, for him, morning, 4, 5 o'clock is the time to wake up and do prayers and all that. Okay? So in this way, we understand that spiritual things are pleasurable to people who understand that spiritual things will bring them happiness. But for people who are wanting immediate happiness, immediate material happiness, thinking that's what they'll get happy, in the end they find it is not really giving them the happiness they think. They think if I earn so much money, I will get very happy. Then they find their children are not following them, and this and that, and their health is not good. So the money, what can we do for you? Nothing. So it is, what is important is your intelligence, and your devotional service is a time of awakening for the introspective stage, means spiritual person. And the person who is night for all beings is the time of awakening. So it's the opposite of material people and the spiritual people. Okay, who would like to read 70, 71, and 72, the last? Who would like to read this? Any volunteers? Krishna Kumari, you want to do?
Prabhuji, just English words?
Yeah, for 70 and 71, only English. For 72 is as per Sanskrit and English. I will help you with the Sanskrit, okay?
Okay, 71 is it?
70 and 71 from the Bhagavad Gita, English.
70 and 71.
Read louder.
Oh, sure. Just English, huh?
Yes, please.
71. Okay. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desire. Text 71. A person who has given up all desire for sense gratification, who lives free from desire, who has given up all sense of a proprietorship and proprietorship and is devoid of a false ego. He alone can attain real peace.
Okay, this one I read, you follow, okay, the Sanskrit.
Okay.
Esa Brahmi. Stiti Partha. Nainam Prapya. Vimuyati.
Titvasyam
Antakalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Okay.
That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is this, situated even at a hour of that, one can enter into the kingdom of God. That's it, is it, Prabhuji? 73, 72 only.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So 70, if you don't get disturbed by your desires, you just say, this is no need, temporary. What? It's not going to give me happiness. You are very intelligent. It's just like a river goes into an ocean and all desires go away. So in the same way, when you put everything as per your in service of Krishna, all your desires go away. You know, you can achieve peace then. And it's not a person who wants to satisfy his desire can achieve peace. That's the problem. And I'm talking about material desires. If you have spiritual desires, it's good. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, Krishna explaining, who is free from these desires and who understands that nothing belongs to him, free from all proprietorship, and he has no false ego. What is the false ego? I am everything. What is the real ego? I am the servant of Krishna and he is my supreme Lord and he is my master. My happiness comes in making him happy. When he is happy, I am happy. So then again in 272 he said, the spiritual and the godly life, this is the way. If you attain this, you will not get bewildered. Your mind will be under the correct training. And if you are situated at the hour of death in such a way, you can go back to the spiritual world. It's a very powerful, last verse. Okay, who would like to read this? And yeah, can? Who would like to read it? Can read again. Those who have read can read again.
I'll try. Prabhu.
Yes.
Maharaj Parikshit asked, "You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I'm therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons and especially for one who is about to die." SP 1 1937. Sukadeva Goswami answered, "The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic power, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life." SP 216.
Thank you. This from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Parikshit is going to die in 7 days. He is asking Sukadev Goswami with a very what we call what just now what we read. Krishna says in 272, he is like this. So he's been asked, what can I do? And then he says the highest perfection of human life is achieved by complete knowledge between the matter and the spirit, between the soul and the body, by practice of mystic powers or by perfect discharge of occupational duty. You can either go jungle and then do all the mystic yoga, or you can do your occupational duty, do your duty without asking for the thinking of the reward. Which is easier? To do all this yoga in the middle of jungle, or to do this your duty without thinking of the reward? Which is easier? Of course, this is easier, occupational duty. You don't have to give up your comforts of your house and all that. You can still keep your comfort. You can still be having nice everything. Okay, and this the highest perfection of human life is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of his life. So this is the way to do it. When you have complete knowledge of matter and spirit, Krishna has explained in chapter 2, and by perfect discharge of occupational duty, which Krishna has explained in chapter 2. Okay. So next week will be Karma Yoga chapter 3. So this one, anyone wants can order. So we come to the end, and